Andrea Johnson over the unit's decision to prosecute suspended National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola. Masemola is charged with contravening Section 38 of the Public Finance Management Act. The charges stem from allegations that he failed to act swiftly to stop the awarding of a 360 million rand SAPS tender to a company linked to alleged crime boss Vusimuzikat Matlala. Alfara Mushwana reports.
Former IDEC head Andrea Johnson has defended the decision to prosecute suspended National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola, arguing that he took too long to terminate the multi-million rand SAPS tender awarded to Medicare 24 Tshwane district. However, commissioners at the Madlanga Commission have put it to Johnson that there is no evidence suggesting Masemola acted corruptly, but at most may have only contravened the PFMA. Commissioner Sesi Baloyi says charging Masemola alongside alleged crime boss Vusimuzikat Matlala may have created the impression that he was part of the alleged corruption.
To me, it gives the impression that the whole purpose was to just have him appear in court, with a consequence that we now publicly know happened, which is he was removed from his position.
Chairperson Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga has also put it to Johnson that IDEC has no legal mandate to charge someone with standalone PFMA charges. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
Parliament's Impeachment Committee has backtracked on an earlier resolution that the authors of a report suggesting President Cyril Ramaphosa should face impeachment appear before it. This follows legal advice that this would erode its own rules or separate the job of the independent panel and the committee. But the ANC did not share the majority view that the decision be dropped, saying it wants to get its own legal opinion on the matter. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
At a meeting last week, the Impeachment Committee resolved to write to the independent panel that was led by former Chief Justice Zandile Ngcobo to present its Section 89 report authored in 2022 to the committee. Parliament lawyer Michael Prince said to insist on the panel's appearance would lead to a conflation of its role and besides would be in contravention of Friday's court interdict for the panel not to proceed with public hearings.
The panel's report must stand or fall on its own written record and should not be supplemented by a further account from its authors.
While MK Parliamentary Leader John Hlophe said it would be humiliating for the committee to insist on judges appearing before it, the ANC's Mika Mahlauli insisted the decision be delayed.
It becomes important that we do have the authors of the report coming to present to us.
After a protracted and heated debate, the matter was put to a vote, with 16 MPs to 8 voting in favour of dropping the resolution, while the ANC's Cameron Dugmore abstained. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Major General Sizakele Tyanji has been appointed as the new Western Cape Police Commissioner. He succeeds Thembisile Phathekile, who retired at the end of last month after serving 5 years in the position. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
Major General Sizakele Tyanji will officially assume the rank of Lieutenant General and take over as the Western Cape's top cop at the beginning of next month. Acting National Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Puleng Timpane announced the appointment at a media briefing in Cape Town today. Tyanji's appointment forms part of the SAPS Police Reset Agenda, which targets 140 high-crime police precincts across the country for intensified policing. He takes office as the Western Cape grapples with deadly mass shooting in urban and rural districts. Meanwhile, Operation Prosper, a joint deployment of the SANDF, SAPS and law enforcement officers launched in April, remains in place to bolster crime-fighting efforts in the Cape. New Provincial Police Commissioner will also take office in Limpopo, Northwest and Mpumalanga next week. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
And police have descended on Joburg Mall in the Johannesburg CBD today, forcing entry into locked shops. This forms part of an intelligence-driven crackdown on the sale of counterfeit and illicit goods. Mongezi Koko is there.
Most shops had already shut their doors before police arrived at Joburg Mall this morning. While questions have been raised about whether the raid was compromised, police say they do not believe there was a tip-off. Instead, they believe the sheer size of law enforcement presence prompted traders to close close their businesses. With the area now cordoned off, officers have begun breaking open locked shops. In some instances, the jaws of life have been used to force entry, while large trucks wait outside to remove suspected counterfeit goods. Spokesperson Amanda Verdwyk.
It's just the presence, the heavy presence, as you can see, at this very active operation that may have alerted them to close shop quickly and vacate the building.
Meanwhile, some shop owners who maintain they do not sell illicit goods have remained outside their stores as police continue their searches. Momki Ziko, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg CBD.
Gold is trading at $4,034.37 an ounce. The rand is at 16.73 to the dollar, 22.24 to the pound, 19.05 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $86.85 a barrel.
Well, at this stage in the Selby area, there's slow-moving traffic on the M2 westbound. That's leaving the Joburg CBD between the Crown Exchange and Main Reef Road. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in four ways at Cedar and Uranium, as well as in Sharon Liam at Malibongo Drive and President Fisher.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 17 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN, the Malanga Commission has challenged former IDAC head Andrea Johnson over the unit's decision to prosecute suspended National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja.
Live, streaming countrywide
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. I know some of you were busy dancing there to the music. Yo, 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 yo. That's all you were thinking. Coming up on the show today, this Wednesday, the 29th of July. I want to find out from all of you, when you book an appointment, like how long are you willing to wait? When you've booked an appointment well in advance with a doctor, a specialist, a service provider, and they're running late, how long are you willing to wait for them? And maybe share, because it can get very, very real. Decorex Joburg, we're going to be chatting to them for the 2026 edition. Alan Hayward will join us, Executive Creative Director at Decorex Africa. Our finance feature, we're going to speak about oil prices moving faster than facts with Linda Eads, who is Investment Executive at Ford. And then in our masterclass, we are talking today about keloids. Okay? This is a skin condition. We'll be joined by plastic surgeon at Lenmed Randfontein Private Hospital, Dr. Wei Han Chen, around that. So get in touch, 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons. And the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We all know that situation, right, where you go to the doctor's rooms. Maybe this appointment has been in the books for 3 months. Or it is your nail appointment. You booked it well in advance because you knew your honeymoon or your birthday is around the corner. So you're like, okay, you have now booked said appointment. Now you get there and they are running late. How long are you willing to wait? And maybe share what the principle is for you and what are the things that you usually put into place when it is time for your appointments. For example, when I go and see my ENT specialist, these people are booked well in advance. Usually they even have multiple practices and offices. And what I do, and I'm so grateful to my ENT that this provision gets made for me, but I always take the very first appointment first thing in the morning. So when I book, I'm like, what is the earliest appointment? Why? Because I know you will wait for a specialist and I still have to come on the show. And for me to go to the doctor after, sometimes they're hours or they're in surgery or whatever. So I will say first thing in the morning, I take that appointment. I don't care if it's 7. I am there and I'll be there Cora 2. And I will sit and I will wait and I will do my thing. But I had to learn the tricks. Why? Because I found myself waiting for doctors for hours. At the same time, I don't freak out about it depending if I have to rush to radio or not. But I've had to learn, especially when you're dealing with certain doctors. Sometimes nail appointments, you get there, they're still busy with someone else. What do you do that you don't find yourself frazzled and having to rush off? So I've created pockets where I'm like, okay, I know if I need to do my nails because they could be running late, don't do it in the morning. And then also, what kind of communication do you need? Like, you know, when you're sitting in the doctor's room, and every time they pick up the folder and they're coming to you, see the person come out, and then they hold the folder, you look around the room because you saw who was there when you got there and who wasn't there. And then they hold the folder. They're looking in your direction and they say, Karabo, doctor's ready for you. You're like, how? But I saw Karabo coming after me. Eh? Do you actually go to the front and say, Mara dog, hey, what's happening? When is it my turn? I do not miss the days, guys, of sitting, waiting in the queue, Kohe Saloon, where I made an appointment. Like I am sitting in a queue, Kohe Saloon. It's not salon, it's saloon, because you know what I'm referring to. Be it ko Sunnyside, ko Bramfontein, where you know you had an appointment and you arrive and they say, we're almost done. But the girl they're braiding only has 4 lines, yet study singles. So how long are you willing to wait? What is the rule? And what are some of the things, or let me say the things you try to do to prep yourself? Do you feel like, listen, if I know I have to go see this particular doctor or my gynecologist, I know I'm going to wait because there's pregnant women, there's emergencies, there's surgeries, there's deliveries. So I book off the whole day. Then I cannot stress. I sit in the waiting room. I have my book. I'm okay. What are the things that you do? Because for some professionals, you will have to wait. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Oh, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers 2 options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual action, soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andelex C lozenges for triple action pain relief. Andelex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andelex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andelex it.
Andelex, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
Drivers, this winter, South Africa's roads can change in seconds. One moment it's clear, next, dense fog blinds your view. Don't drive on memory, drive on visibility. If you can't see clearly beyond 50 meters, pull over safely at the nearest truck stop. Stay alert, stay alive, check your surroundings and inform others. See and be seen. Let's navigate winter roads together. This message is brought to you by the National Department of Transport.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
16 minutes after 1 o'clock, and we're talking about how long you're willing to wait for a delayed appointment or a practitioner or a service provider, a medical professional that is running late before you're just like fed up, especially if you booked it well in advance. What are the things you do to cushion yourself, because some of these appointments you are going to have to wait? And do you have like a strategy in place? Do you say 30 minutes is my limit and then I leave? And I'm thinking about specialists. You will think you can leave, and then the next available appointment is 6 months later. 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Sipo says, less than 30 minutes I will wait, provided that there's a reason provided. So the reason is, so you need a reason and then you'll wait 30 minutes. Al says, depends how sick I am or how badly I need to see the expert. That is a very, very good point. I'm heading over to the comments I'll start on my Facebook. Queenie says, I am never willing to wait, but I've waited for over 3 hours for my gynae appointment. She left to go deliver some babies at the hospital and came back to her practice. Funny enough, I wasn't even mad. I just thought, what an important job and superwoman. I also only waited though, because getting an appointment with one takes months. Dolly says, last weekend I made a hair appointment with my hairdresser for 8 a.m. 8:03 I was there. Did she not only start my head at 12:30? I said that way, that was my last time ever. Please miss me. You waited from 8:03 to 12:30. What do you mean? Mlaite says 45 minutes if they're also doing rounds in the hospital. Okay. Somebody called Mabotja says only wait if it is not urgent and if you behave time. I'm assuming they're trying to imply that you communicate that. Viola says 30 minutes is how long I'll wait. M says, how long am I willing to wait calmly? 10 minutes. Anything other than that, you must never. Deboho says, I waited 3 hours for my gynae for a pregnancy-related appointment. It was unfortunately out of his control. Luckily, I had the day off, which is exactly it, guys. The gynae appointments, especially if they are really, really good, then you know they are good. They're busy rushing to deliver babies and to see patients in the hospital. You will wait. Delphi says 30 minutes is enough of a wait for me. Zandi says 15 minutes. Richard says 15 minutes. Guys, 15 minutes is short. 15 minutes is very short. Lee says 10 to 30 minutes. Lyndon says 5 to 15 minutes, more than that, and I feel I'm being a little bit disrespected. Keep in mind that the question we asked is all types of appointments, so medical, hair, general service providers. On the WhatsApp line, Relebogile, you are triggering me. I'm happy to wait for an hour, but when you go to a gynecologist, you better pack your scufftin and water, plus your laptop and your router from Molebo. I would love to hear from any of the medical professionals that are listening, that what do you do when it comes to, obviously you have your admin people, but what do you do in terms of trying to keep the appointments on time, if that's even a possibility? Relebogile, my wife does her hair and nails during Mampara week when it's nice and quiet. Please educate me. When is Mampara week? Guys, when is Mampara week? Is that like the first week when people are, I don't know, when is Mampara week? Is that when we're poor? Is Mampara week when we're broke? Okay. Karabo's nodding his head. So if I'm wrong, please blame the traffic guy. Because I'm trying to figure, is Mampara week when we're poor and then we don't have money? And then that's when you do your hair and nails. Yo, guys, we learn every day. Karabo's coming to defend his name and honor.
You know you've made it in life if you don't know when Mampara week
No, I was trying.
It's like, I'm like, what?
Firstly, I've never even heard.
Yeah.
So is that?
You made it. You made it, Kel.
Wait, no. Wait, I don't know it as that, but I do know that there's a period, ne? Okay. It's around the 22nd, where you start checking when is month end and stop fronting because I've asked you before. Ending month end, how far are we from payday? So I didn't know it was called Mamparawi. Yo, listen. Yo, okay. I see. I don't know. Wait, where does the name come from?
Yeah, Barry. But clever, I'm
sorry. Okay, I love it. I'm gonna start you. Listen, from your lips to God's ears, that I never ever know the feeling of Mampara week. But please know, my colleagues Nono said, guys, inning payday. Charles in Kensington. How's it, Charles?
Good afternoon, Relebogile.
Hey, I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. Imagine you sitting with your doctor.
Yes.
The way you talk, the amount of time that you take with the doctor.
Yes.
And it's not Relebogile alone. That's a lot of patients.
Yes.
And each one takes an extra 5 minutes, another 10 minutes, another 15 minutes. It goes to an hour, and the queue gets longer and longer.
Yes.
I think it's all the cases that the patients put across to the doctor that causes all these delays.
So we are the problem.
You are the problem, especially people who are like you, who are able to talk like you.
Charles, who said I'm not a sweet, quiet konyana when I'm at the doctor's? Charles, do you work in the medical space at all? Because it's like you can understand, eh?
I mean, look, I'm 75. I've gone through it all.
So I have to tell you, Charles. At my one doctor's rooms, ne, they always say, "Ooh, when Relebogile is coming, you must just warn the patients after her." Doctor, Baikoba busy, and you are right. I blame me, ne.
Exactly what it. I'm saying this from experience because my wife always says, "Please cut it short." I have a personal relationship with all my doctors. And when I go in there, I forget there are people that are waiting outside.
So it takes one to know one, Charles in Kensington. Thank you so, so much. And guys, I mean, these people do become so familiar to us. They really do. Like, I genuinely like all of my medical professionals, of which there are many, just because I've got issues, lung specialists, like, they're my people. So, of course, if I haven't seen you in 6 months, we're going to catch up. I need to know how your kids are doing. Hey, I must blame myself. Afternoon 7:02 and team, yo. Relebogile. There is a medical center in Cresta I have never been attended to on my appointments on time. Never. Most of the time, when you call in the morning, your doctor's usually fully booked. Then you opt for another one. Last week, I was in so much pain. My appointment was 11 a.m. 11:30, the person who was supposed to go in before me is still there next to me waiting to be called. And I am looking at the doctor casually talking to this other person, not sure if they're a patient, in the corridor. I stood up and asked for any available doctor and got attended to by another doctor before the person who had an appointment before me. So that's the struggle you have to pick, right? If you're going to a medical center, if it's an emergency, you're going to say the first available doctor because they have your file anyways. And if you want your specific doctor, you are going to probably have to wait. One message says, years ago, I was charged for forgetting a dentist appointment I paid, but complained that with booking 6 months ahead, it would be nice to get a reminder. I now get an SMS confirming the appointment 24 hours ahead. That is from Nick. Look, a lot of doctors' rooms are quite good. They phone and remind you. But the best thing you can do when you go to pay at the end of your consult and they are putting in the next appointment, put it in your diary immediately. Some of your voice notes are coming through. 072 702 1702.
Hi, Relebogile. So I'm fortunate to work shifts. So if I need to see a specialist or a doctor, I try and book my appointment on days when I'm not working. I'm off. And 30 minutes to an hour max is okay for me. I can wait for them because they might be busy with other patients in the hospital ward or be at another practice that they have. So I'm willing to wait. But with nail techs, lash techs, if I can get to the appointment on time, respect me and also be ready for me when I arrive. I'm not willing to wait at all. 10 minutes is too long. Respect my time.
Hi, Relebogile and 702. We have a hardware store in Norwood where we refill gas, and unfortunately, you just do have to wait for the gas to be pumped. It takes about 15 minutes. And what we noticed is like our customers will come, leave their gas bottle and go to Spar or Woolies, whatever. But then the second customer comes and says, no, why must I wait 45 minutes? There's no queue. Meanwhile, there was customers before them, and then they get angry thinking we're lying to them because we doing preferential treatment to certain customers. So I think it's just part of the retail space. If you can be honest with your customers, if you're running late for a delivery, if you can tell them, look, this is what happened, we are running late, rather stay home another 40 minutes and then come, we can help you.
Okay, and I think maybe those are the things that people don't think about, right? The fact that you can leave and then you feel like, why am I being made to wait if there's no one here? Good point. I'm actually curious that if somebody arrives early and the next appointment is not there, do you just go to that person? Like, how do you deal with those situations? One person says, I am guilty as charged. I only use women doctors and all my doctors are my friends. The dentist, the GP, the gynae. So our Mgozi can go on and on and on. Let's do naughty. Let's go to Gift in Brits. Hi, Gift.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Yeah, mine is a different one. It was Home Affairs. I had an appointment for 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock, I was still not called, and they only called us around 3 o'clock. And mine due at 4 o'clock, they are closing down.
What time was your appointment at Home Affairs?
11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Confirmed.
But also Gift. Blame. Like let's be Gift when has government been on time? Are being honest? Hey, Gift. Yeah, Home Affairs yona. Gift. Gift Marlena.
No, but if they say 12 o'clock and you're not there, you don't know what might happen. So you got there on time and you wait. You must go to the shops, and they're still calling people from, I don't know, whatever time.
Okay, can I tell you the trick, Gift? Yeah, Home Affairs. Yeah. This one has worked for me. So I get you must choose the days. Obviously, it depends what you're going for and how urgent it is. But let's say I need to go for passport. Yes. I will pick the day and I'll even search the center that has the earliest slot open, which I think is 8. Ufikeda, 7:30, ne? Breakfast in your tummy, coffee in your hand, phone fully charged. At least you're fighting the 8 o'clock people, ne?
Yeah.
And then you're maybe number 10. That's the Home Affairs strategy. But booking at 11, I shame. You,
No, but remember,
you like to suffer. Choose it all suffer. Gift. I gift Home Affairs. Gift in Brits. Thank you. Guys, any government appointment, please hear me when I say, take the first appointment of the day. Now, I mean, the last time I was in the queue at Home Affairs, the lady was late. They were running late. And she even went to fetch her laptop at the car because she gets she gets paid hourly. Guys, there are strategies. We're going to continue when we come back. But don't forget, coming up, there is going to be a chance to win 4 tickets for the Scatterlings Music Festival brought to you by 702. Make sure you stay tuned. Okay, fine. I'll tell you how to do it. Are you guys ready? Scatterlings Music Festival. 4 tickets. All you have to do is send your name to enter, rather. Name one of the artists that's going to be performing at the concert and send it on WhatsApp to 0727021702. Make sure you include your name and your ID number, and we could be calling you back. T's and C's apply. It's just after 1:30, time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines, and the person who waits patiently for me every single day is Mbali when I'm late for news.
I need to start charging you per minute, actually.
Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Very good afternoon. Well, the Madlanga Commission has challenged former IDAC head Andrea Johnson over the unit's decision to prosecute suspended National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula. Masemula is charged with contravening Section 38 of the Public Finance Management Act. The charges stem from allegations that he failed to act swiftly to stop the awarding of a 360 million rand SAPS tender to a company linked to alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Matlala. Lawyers for the DA claimed Tshwane Council Speaker Mncedi Nzwanana got his numbers wrong when considering a controversial vote that is now being challenged in the courts. The party has taken the Tshwane Council and its Speaker to court over votes made earlier this month, resulting in City Manager Johan Metler's suspension and CFO Gareth Mnisi's reinstatement. The DA and Trade Union Solidarity are challenging the lawfulness of that vote. And South Africa's tourism sector continued in its recovery in June. The country welcomed more than 823,000 overnight tourists, an increase of 9.8% compared with the same period last year. Stats SA says overall more than 2.7 million travellers passed through the country's ports of entry during the month of June this year, with foreign travellers accounting for nearly 3/4 of all that movement. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Mampara reading traffic. Good afternoon, bro.
Sure, clever. Well, at this stage in North Riding, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is approaching the intersection of Witkoppen and Malibongwe Drive. There's also slow-moving traffic. This is in the Midrand area, heading towards Centurion. N1 northbound between the Baklu interchange and Allendale, while in Selby. This is leaving the Joburg CBD, heading towards the Riverlea area. Slow-moving traffic, M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. And we still have those faulty traffic lights in the Fourways area, slowing down traffic. This is approaching Cedar and Uranium. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
This issue of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature Speaker who went on a jaunt with some senior managers to Venezuela. Almost 6 million rand on what was meant to be a 4-day trip. And it never really even materialized in the way that it was intended. Mike, this is an unbelievable story.
Yes, it is incredible, but when you see it in the context of past behavior, Bongani, it's extraordinary. It's absolutely absolutely appalling. But on another level, it's not surprising. We've often seen with these study tours is that the ANC councillors or members of the legislature like to go to places where there's some kind of affinity on ideology basis. There's an affinity for Venezuela and Cuba and Russia and so on, and we've seen a spate of those in the past couple of years.
Mike Moriarty, Chief Whip for the DA.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
If you have an unresolved dispute involving your bank, insurer, pension fund, or financial advisor, you can complain to a financial ombud for free. South Africa's financial ombud system, overseen by the Ombud Council, provides free, fair, and impartial dispute resolution. Whether it's through the National Financial Ombud, the Phase Ombud, or the Pension Funds Adjudicator, help is available. Visit ombudcouncil.org.za for more info.
It's always the same with you. I want this, I need that, and somehow I am always the one paying for it. I think we need a little time apart. Not forever, just long enough for me to build some interest again. After all, distance makes the funds grow stronger.
Give your money time this July savings month. Open a Nedbank 32-day notice account on the Money app and earn up to 7.55% interest with 0 monthly fees. Go to nedbank.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Oh, the shelf was leaning sideways. The tap was dripping slow. I said, relax, I've got this. I know just where to go. I went to the crazy store. A screwdriver's all I need. Somehow I left with so much more. A torch, a broom, a book to read.
That's crazy, crazy. That's the crazy store. Went in for one small thing. Came out with so much more.
The Crazy Store. Hey, you never know what you might find.
Your voice.
Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
23 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we've been talking about how long you're willing to wait for an appointment that you booked with a medical professional or a service provider or any kind of appointment, especially if you booked it in advance when they are running late. 011 883 702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Now, before you guys, if you missed the first part of the conversation, there was a message of a gent saying that his wife, her solve to these appointments where you might have to wait is to book during Mampara week. And I was trying to figure out what is Mampara week, and Karabo confirmed and nodded his head off air when I was like, so is it the week where you're waiting for pay? And you guys are having me in the WhatsApp line. So one says Mampara week is salty crack week, or when you buy Black Label instead of Heineken. That is from George in Cape Town. Yo, the way you guys explain things is absolutely hilarious. Somebody else says, hi, Relebogile, when you are popping, Mampara is not even in your vocab. I mean, who was going to tell me Mampara week? Who was going to tell me? More of your messages. One says Mampara week is the week before payday week, Relebogile. And the last of your messages, I was super sick and a women's league president walked in. The doctor, I won't mention, was in his consulting room for good. 5 hours. I waited. Yo. Hi, I'm a personal assistant to a surgeon, and I've had to let patients know that the doctor's running late because she has emergency theatre cases. If you're seeing a surgeon doctor, you cannot expect it to always run smoothly and on time. They are busy with emergencies or patients. I mean, they are surgeons. What do people expect? This is true. Another one says, I had the most professional gynae. She was always on time, except once when she had to deliver and they fitted me in the next day. She's retired now, Rena in 4 ways with a crying face. I'm due for my 6 months consultation, but the problem is that this time of the year, our family physician is busy with recently recently born circumcisions, and preference is always given to them, and I know I have to wait. Thanks from Simon. So it took me a while to register. The next one says, when I go to Home Affairs, I take my Kindle. I make sure that I have the day off and I enjoy the day knowing I'm prepared to wait and my time will come while I enjoy reading my rom-com books. That's the only way, guys. Government appointments, you need the whole day off. Another one says, I try my utmost to be on time. If I'm running late, I call the rooms and tell the receptionist to please apologize to patients. And I make sure I do so as I walk in and again when I see them. Patients, however, do not offer the same courtesy. I have at least one every day who will be at least 30 minutes late with no apology. Worse are the ones who just don't show up, wasting my time and the next patient's time who could have been seen earlier. So, an appeal. If you can't make it to your doctor's appointment, please have the decency to call and tell them. Sometimes you're the last patient. The doctor then is sitting around waiting for you, only for you to not show up when he could have left and skipped traffic. Thank you so much, Yaya Atia, for all of your messages and your voice notes and your calls.
Spend your afternoon
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
19 minutes to 2 o'clock, and now we get a chance to find out about Decorex Joburg for 2026. It is returning to the Sandton Convention Center from the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, and there will be so much in store for all of us. But joining us is Alan Hayward, who is Executive Creative Director at Decorex Africa. Alan, how are you doing?
Finding you busy setting up, but very good, thank you. And you, good.
I am so excited just to hear what is in store for us this year.
Well, we have an incredible show. Obviously, our Cape Town show was a couple weeks ago, very close this year. And we are doing the Sandton Convention Center, which opens tomorrow, the 30th of July to the 2nd of August. And we've got 5 floors of the best that homeware and design have to offer in Johannesburg, South Africa, the rest of Africa, and internationally.
And for those that have never come through to Decorex Africa, maybe share with us, or Decorex Joburg, what is it all about? Because I know every year it gets bigger and better, but some have never even attended.
So we have a little bit of something for everybody. We've got, just to maybe run you through the different floors we have. At the bottom, we have a renovate and build floor, which is everything to do with building. Anyone that's looking to renovate their homes, windows, doors, bricks, tiles, garden accessories, all those sorts of things. This year we also have the property show about private property, which will also be different banks offering different types of loans and real estate agents, all that kind of housey things on the bottom floor. This year we also have the DIY studio, which will be a talks program of all sorts of interesting design talks, how to put up blinds, how to reupholster your couch, how to do this and that. Really interesting with Discovery this year. Then we also have the kitchens and bathrooms floor, which is always a winner. We have incredible kitchen showrooms, tiles, taps, bathroom accessories. We have an incredible bathroom this year called the Soft Life Bathroom with Relebogile Mabotja. That is definitely one to watch. We also have a great restaurant called Kampai in there if you want to get some sushi. Then we have the 100% design floor. The 100% design floor is all of the best kind of furniture and product design around South Africa and around Africa. Some features is we got the Future Talks feature there, which is all different talks the whole weekend, looking at design, the different designers, lighting, furniture. We've got some talks by Lagos Design Weeks, which are our guests this week. And we also have someone doing an incredible talk from Milan Salon de Mobile, Cora PR, which will be a great talk to watch. Then we've got the Capitec Design Market, which we introduced last year. This year it's 2 floors, incredible things to buy if you want to come and get some stuff for your home or some fashion things. That's the place to be. And then finally we have the decor and furniture floor, which is right at the top. And that's kind of like all your homeware, cushions, different kind of couches. We also have poetry, which has come on this year. We've got a great stand by Woolworths, Granny Goose. So a little bit for everyone, whether you are in the industry and whether you are doing something in design, interior design, architects, builders, or you are just somebody that loves loves the home, that you want to come and look for something for your home, we have a little bit of something for everybody.
Will you be honest with me, Ellen, and not be biased with the question I'm going to ask you?
I can't promise that.
So I need to know, which is the floor or the space that you think generally gets the most foot traffic and why?
Look, we expect, like over 30 or 40,000 people this weekend. So generally people will kind of make their way through the show. It really depends on what people are looking for. I mean, obviously 100% Design is one of our flagship floors, and it has all the most amazing things. I've already been up there today, and we just have so many cool things on that. So that's a really, really great floor. But, everyone is kind of competing on the floors to see who's going to do a better floor. And this year, I think they've brought the big guns. So, yeah, it's going to be an incredible show. We actually also have, the last thing actually I forgot to mention is we have an international show where we've got a lot of Chinese manufacturers as well, looking at the different things that they're importing. So, wow, there's just so much stuff to do.
Where can people get their tickets?
So we have a whole lot of different tickets. You can get the tickets at the door, but if you'd like to get them up front, go to decorex.co.za. There's a whole raft of different tickets, from VIP tickets, tickets for pensioners, tickets for children. Everything is on our website. But if you don't manage to do that, park in the Sandton precinct somewhere, come across, and we can sell you a ticket on the day.
There we go. Alan Hayward, thank you so much. Executive Creative Director at Decorex Africa. And Decorex Joburg 2026 is taking place at the Sandton Convention Center from the 30th of July. So that's from tomorrow till the 2nd of August. When South Africa's biggest artists come together on one stage, you just know that the hottest music fest of the year is going down. Scatterling's Music Festival. It takes place this Saturday and features a whole bunch of artists. And we ask of all of you to WhatsApp the correct answer plus your name and your ID number to 0727021702, and we'd be giving you 4 tickets. And you just had to tell us one of the artists that are performing at this festival. If you don't get an opportunity to win today, head over to webtickets.co.za. Scatterling's Music Festival is taking place at Huddle Park on Saturday, brought to you by 702. Somebody has 4 tickets waiting for them.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Lawyers for Crime Intelligence Officer Dineo Mukweli say they are considering advising her to reject the provisional withdrawal of her fraud and corruption charges in favor of a permanent stay of prosecution. Mukweli was arrested along with 7 other crime intelligence officers last year for allegedly conspiring to hire her to a senior position which she allegedly wasn't qualified for. However, recent revelations at the Madlanga Commission have shown the case was without merit and Mukweli was actually suitably qualified for the role.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Uncertainty is rising, but your business still has to deliver. Production targets need to be met. And when your workforce is out of balance, the cost is immediate. Too many employees, costs climb. Too few, productivity drops. Workforce Staffing helps businesses stay in control with flexible workforce solutions deployed within 48 hours nationwide. When demand changes, your workforce can change with it. Visit workforcestaffing.co.za. Stay productive, stay flexible, stay in control.
Yo, nothing humbles you like a cold shower.
Happens fast, eh? 1 minute you're living your best life.
Next minute you're questioning everything.
Fair. Here's a quick tip. If your geezer's acting up, don't wait for disaster. Small fixes now save big problems later.
And remember, if you buy cheap, you will shower in the lounge.
We've got loads more tips where that came from.
Quicot, #1 in water heating solutions. Quicot,
add warmth to life.
You're up before everyone else. You're building something real. Absa Business Banking, powered by Visa, gives you everything you need to get going. Open a business account in 10 minutes. Buy a point-of-sale device for $7.99 and get a credit card all in one place. We get it. Running a business is hard. Your banking shouldn't be. Search Business Starter Pack. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Dreaming of your next getaway? Whether it's a sun-soaked beach escape, an adventure-packed tour, or a luxury cruise, Flight Centre is your center for travel. We make travel easy, affordable, and stress-free. Plus, you can enjoy exclusive traveler perks with our frequent Flighty Rewards program. Flight Centre's got you covered. Visit your nearest Flight Centre store or online at flightcentre.co.za. Flight Centre, your center for travel.
702. Finance feature.
9 minutes to 2 o'clock in our finance feature for today. We are talking about the oil prices moving faster than facts. And we are joined by Linda Eads, who's investment executive at Ford. 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Linda, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Relebogile, and good afternoon to the listeners as well.
So let's talk about oil prices moving faster than facts. What exactly do we mean by that?
Well, Relebogile, we've seen oil prices moving all over the place since the start of the conflict. And we started the year at around $60. Of course, we saw oil prices move above $100 in March when it all sort of broke out. Peaked over $120 and then fell all the way back to $70 in early July when we had the sort of so-called ceasefire. And then more last in the last week, it spiked back over $100. And now over the last few days, back down to $84. So we've seen a huge amount of volatility in the oil price. And our point is that really that's been driven by short-term headlines and sentiment, and that the physical flow of oil is going to take much longer to restore. And I think the bottom line is that even if the straits open up entirely, which it doesn't look like that's going to be the case anytime soon, tankers still need to be persuaded to pass through, the mines need to be cleared, insurers need to be cutting insurance premiums, and the infrastructure that was damaged also needs to be repaired. And in addition to that, countries which, of course, have drawn down their sort of strategic reserves while all of this has been happening, that also needs to be replenished. So our point is that it is going to take some time for oil prices to normalize. We don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So both consumers and investors alike have to think about pricing in a higher oil price as we sort of work through that underlying physical flow of oil and fixing that as it was prior to all of the conflict.
So in essence, the behavior is not being determined by real-time truth and facts.
Correct. And isn't that always the case with markets? You know, as investors, we have to separate the short-term movements, which are driven a lot by sentiment and what everyone is expecting to happen over the short term, and what is actually happening on the ground from a fundamental perspective. Because, of course, we have to make our decisions based on sort of the longer-term movement and the more sort of sustainable movement rather than the sort of knee-jerk reactions that we see day to day.
So what should the average South African be paying attention to in all of this? Because, of course, what happens to the oil price does affect us.
Of course. And so, unfortunately, it's not very good news in the sense that we do think oil prices are going to remain a bit higher for longer as we work through fixing all of those things which need to be fixed. And as I say, even if everything sort of evaporates in terms of the conflict overnight, it's still going to take some time to actually restore the physical flow of oil. So what does that mean? Well, the short-term good news is that we are probably going to get a very small decrease in the petrol price next week. As everyone probably knows, we have a monthly reset of the petrol and diesel price on the first Wednesday of every month. But the bad news is diesel prices are probably going to go back up. And we were hoping for a much bigger price cut in both of those things when prices were a little bit lower. Now they have sort of spiked and come back down. They use a calculation on a daily basis to work that out. But the short-term impact is that, unfortunately, we've seen petrol prices up 30%, since before the conflict. We've seen diesel prices up even more, 40%. And so that's going to have an impact on budgets, and it's going to have an impact on businesses. And then there's sort of knock-on effects as well. I mean, we saw the central bank, our SARB, actually didn't raise interest rates last week, which is a big surprise to us all because we've seen inflation ticking up quite considerably. I mean, it's up at 5% now, and that's come up quite a lot over the last few months from 4%. So that's moving quite quickly. So they didn't raise rates, but of course, it does mean that it's going to take some time for interest rate cuts to come through. So, higher inflation, unfortunately, potentially higher interest rates, and certainly higher portion of your budget that's going to go into filling up your cars as well.
Okay, and I think it's a lot for us to be super, super mindful of and to brace ourselves because we don't know what will be coming up. Linda, thank you so, so much for your time on our finance feature. SA's biggest artists are coming together for the Scatterlings Music Festival taking place this Saturday, and we asked you to send a WhatsApp to 072 702 702 and name an artist that is on the line up. And the concert is taking place at Huddle Park this 1st of August, Saturday, brought to you by 702. And of course, you can get your tickets as well at webtickets.co.za. But somebody did send us a WhatsApp. Cynthia, how are you?
Good afternoon, Relebogile. I'm good, and yourself?
I am good, Cynthia. We asked one simple question. Name one of the artists performing at the Scatterlings Music Festival.
Zakes Mantwini.
You're so confident, Cynthia. Eh? Did he tell you I was going to be there? Did he tell you self?
I love the Scatterlings. I'm looking forward to seeing Jesse Clegg.
Are you going, babes?
I'd love to go.
You are going. You've got 4 tickets. You've got 4 tickets, babes. You're going to be going to the Scatterlings Music Festival. Congratulations. It's taking place this weekend. Zakes Bantwini, Sun Al musicians, Java, J Something, Psyche, Jesse Clegg, Semi Treso, Sminofu, and more. And you can head over to webtickets.co.za. And all you have to do, guys, stay tuned because we might be giving some more tickets.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What commitment did the Nigerian government make to help South Africa deal with that concern that was raised?
One of the things they did commit to was to say where they can in other countries when they have visits of high-level officials, they commit to engage their nationals to say that when you are hosted by another country, you must respect the laws and you must engage in a manner that is respectful of that country.
So will they engage their citizens who are here?
We hope that in the future where there's such a high-level delegation to Nigeria, there would be such an engagement. But more importantly, between the two countries, there will be what we call the early warning mechanism, where we start seeing trends that are concerning about our nationals in the two countries. We will raise this through diplomatic channels.
Crispin Piri, spokesperson for the Department of International Relations.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
When you trust an attorney with your money, you should have peace of mind. That's where the Legal Practitioners Fidelity Fund comes in. Established under the Legal Practice Act, the fund exists to protect members of the public who suffer financial loss because of the theft of trust money by a dishonest practicing attorney. It's an important safeguard that helps build confidence, accountability, and integrity in South Africa's legal profession.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient, Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Centre becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Madlanga Commission is expected to rule on an application by controversial businessman Suleiman Karim for a postponement of his testimony. Karim is due to testify on August the 14th, but the Commission will first decide on the conditions proposed by the evidence leaders in relation to his application. The evidence leaders want Karim to undergo an independent medical assessment to verify his claims of ill health after he missed several of his scheduled hearings. Meanwhile, earlier today, the Commission challenged former IDAC head Andrea Johnson over the unit's decision to prosecute suspended National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola. Masemola is charged with contravening Section 38 of the Public Finance Management Act. The charges stem from allegations that he failed to act swiftly to stop the awarding of a tender to a company linked to alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Matlala. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
Former IDAC head Andrea Johnson has defended the decision to prosecute suspended National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola, arguing that he took too long to terminate the multi-million rand SAPS tender awarded to Medicare 24 Tshwane district. However, commissioners at the Madlanga Commission have put it to Johnson that there is no evidence suggesting Masemola acted corruptly, but at most may have only contravened the PFMA. Commissioner Sesi Baloyi says charging Masemola alongside alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Matlala may have created the impression that he was part of the alleged corruption.
To me, it gives the impression that the whole purpose was to just have him appear in court, with a consequence that we now publicly know happened, which is he was removed from his position.
Chairperson Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga has also put it to Johnson that IDAC has no legal mandate to charge someone with standalone PFMA charges. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
The defence in the trial of alleged underworld figure Vusimuzi Matlala and 4 others is continuing to challenge the legality of the police's search of the home of accused number 1 Musa Kekana. The Johannesburg High Court has heard that Alfred Sekgobela proceeded with the search without a warrant, even though he had sufficient time to obtain one. Yesterday, Sekgobela told the court he proceeded without the warrant because he believed the matter was urgent and feared evidence would be tampered with. Matlala and 4 co-accused are facing a combined 25 charges linked to 3 separate attempted murder cases. Dimakato Leshoro reports.
Under cross-examination, Defence Counsel Advocate Rian Khaseng put it to Captain Pimi Sekgobela that he had sufficient time to apply for a search warrant from the moment police identified the suspects until they arrived at Kekana's property.
Once you have received verification of the information from Shepherd, you were in a position to apply for a search warrant. And then you said no, and I asked you why. Why not?
Sekgobela rejected this, maintaining investigators did not yet have enough information to satisfy the requirements for a J51 warrant.
I had not known the name that I was supposed to apply the search warrant for. With the experience that I have not come across for application of a search warrant with only an address and not a name.
Dimakato Leshoro, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg High Court.
Lawyers for the DA claimed Tshwane Council Speaker Mncedi Nzwanana got his numbers wrong when considering a controversial vote that is now being challenged in the courts. The party has taken the Tshwane Council and its Speaker to court over votes made earlier this month, resulting in City Manager Johan Metler's suspension and CFO Gareth Mnisi's reinstatement. The DA and Trade Union Solidarity are challenging the lawfulness of that vote. Khomotso Modise reports.
On the day that the Tshwane Council had a sitting resigning after a 2-day notice. 12 DA councillors and one from the Freedom Front Plus were on a leave of absence, but the court has heard that 9 of them attended and ended up voting. However, the court has heard this morning that when the Speaker, Mncedi Nzwanana, was cancelling votes of councillors who were on leave, he discounted 13 votes, getting the math wrong. Lawyer for the DA, Advocate Nick Ferreira.
So the Speaker unilaterally deducts 13 votes from the side that his political coalition disagrees with.
Meanwhile, the court has heard that CFO Gareth Mnisi's reinstatement will not be challenged in today's urgent application, but has been left for the review application, which will be heard at a time to be determined. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News at the Pretoria High Court.
And South Africa's tourism sector continued its recovery in June. The country welcomed more than 823,000 overnight tourists, an increase of 9.8% compared with the same period last year. Stats SA says overall more than 2.7 million travellers passed through the country's ports of entry during the month, with foreign travellers accounting for nearly 3/4 of all movement. The biggest share of tourists came from neighbouring SADC countries. Anelita Fandese has more.
Stats SA's international tourism data for June shows Mozambique remains the largest source market with more than 216,000 tourists, followed by Zimbabwe and Lesotho. Overseas visitors accounted for just over 17%, led by the United States, the United Kingdom and Australia. 97.3% of tourists visited the country for holiday purposes, including visiting family and friends, shopping and vacations, while business travel accounted for just 2.4%. Most visitors entered South Africa by road, highlighting the continued importance of regional tourism to the country's visitor economy. The figures show South Africa's tourism recovery is driven by strong regional travel, while overseas arrivals continue to provide steady support for the sector. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,034.37 an ounce. The rand is at 16.73 to the dollar, 22.24 to the pound, 19.05 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $86.85 a barrel.
Well, at this stage in Midrand, heading towards Centurion, slow-moving traffic, N1 northbound from the Bethlehem interchange to Allendale. Traffic lights still not working in 4 ways at Cedar and Uranium.
The top story in EWN, the Madlanga Commission is set to rule on an application by controversial businessman Suleiman Karim for a postponement of his testimony at this hour.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, and we're going to be jumping into a masterclass. Get your notebooks out, guys. We are going to be in school learning all about keloids, and we're going to be joined by plastic surgeon at Linmid Randfontein Private Hospital, Dr. Wei Han Chen, and looking forward to engaging with all of you. So get in touch. 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702
Masterclass.
Masterclass time on 702 afternoons. And I'm truly, truly getting to enjoy this part of my job. Constantly feel like we are learning, we are growing together. And of course, we want to hear from all of you. If there is a topic you'd like us to discuss on the masterclass, 7:02 afternoons at 702.co.za, and we'll see what we can do. And we try our best to make it as simple and easy to understand, while also creating awareness when we have discussions like this. So you're not surprised when you see a person who is dealing with keloids. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. And we welcome plastic surgeon at Lenmed Randfontein Private Hospital, Dr. Wei Han Chen. Doctor, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Relebogile. Thank you for having me.
Doctor, I have had conversations with people who are dealing with keloids, and all their stories are so different. But more importantly, I was frustrated on their behalf when they would share how they are struggling. Can you explain in the simplest way possible what keloids are?
Sure. That's a very deep question, but I think let's start from the very beginning when we talk about scars in general. So when we ever have an injury, our body needs to repair the injured skin. So normally our body puts in scar tissue in that area. The scar usually gets a scab, then becomes like this little thin line, which is initially a deep purple color, goes red and pink and pale and fades over time. That's what normally happens. The others who get something called a hypertrophic scar is where the scar is raised, it's red, it's firm, it's itchy, looks a bit like a snake that's under the skin, and remains in that area for much longer. However, these do improve over time. Usually about a year, they do fade, they become less itchy and less irritable. Keloids, on the other hand, they behave very differently. So our body is supposed to lay down scar tissue in a scaffold manner. A keloid has no architecture whatsoever, so it goes way beyond the borders and grows beyond what the initial injury was. In fact, I don't know if you care that much, but the word keloid is from the Latin word chela, which is for crab. So it's like a crab pincers, is what it looks like when it comes out. Keloids, unfortunately, they don't go away and they don't disappear. So they do need intervention from plastic surgeons or any other surgeons to assist in the treatment of them.
Can you help the listeners who have not seen what keloids look like by describing how they can present themselves and where they can show on different parts of the body? What triggered this conversation was because there's a gentleman whose images were circulating on social media where he was absolutely struggling. So he had keloids all over, and they look like big masses all over his back, in the front of his chest, his arms, and has been seeking help and speaking about the burning itchiness and all of those things. But I think sometimes people can look at something and not recognize it is keloids. They just think that looks like a random growth.
Sure. So keloids, the most common area that people complain about is on the earlobes, especially after an ear piercing. Otherwise, there are areas where you get innocuous injuries from shaving, so especially in the beard area, in the hairline, or even on the face where you have a small anyana pimple or something, which initially you scratched, got injured, and now it starts with a small little lump and grows and grows and grows. Suddenly it's looking like it's going beyond the skin. And now at first when people look at it, they're worried, is this a cancer? Is it something scary? Am I in trouble? I think that leads to the next question is, is it a health problem? Of course it is. It does affect your psychology, your social, even just meeting friends and being very self-conscious about it. The lucky thing for it is that it is not a cancer, so it's not malignant. There's no worry for it to change into a cancer, but it does still affect you in a way that, you don't want to be affected.
So when we get back to the part about what would determine a scar becoming a keloid and not just remaining a scar, what is happening in the body that determines that part?
So the thing about keloids is it's actually a genetic component on how the body, the cells in your wound is called fibroblasts. So they lay down the collagen that closes these wounds. Now, if your genetic component enables it to just go crazy and keep laying scar in a chaotic fashion, these people are prone to keloids. And that is one of the major contributing factors of why people suffer from keloids.
All right, we're going to take a break. Doctor, when we come back, we continue with this masterclass. We're talking about keloids, and maybe you have what you might suspect are keloids, or you might have been battling with keloids. When we come back, we're going to delve into why they can be challenging to treat, why they can return, and what some of the symptoms are and what some of the signs are as well. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Checkers brings you better freshness, better choice, and better value every day. On deals like Lancewood Cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for 139 Rand, save 44 Rand. And Colgate Total or Pro toothpaste, 75 mils for 39.99, save 25 Rand. Plus, get up to 40% back in U-Count rewards with your qualifying Standard Bank card. Valid until 10 August, only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Centre becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za. 702
Masterclass.
17 minutes after 2 o'clock, and we're continuing on our masterclass. We're having a conversation around keloids. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We're chatting to Dr. Wei Han Chen, who is a plastic surgeon at Lenmed Randfontein Private Hospital. Doctor, just in terms of, if a person's parent had keloids, is there something that they can do to test if they have a predisposition for it, or it doesn't work like that?
So currently there's no genetic test to see if you have a keloid. However, if your parents did suffer from keloids, then there's a high chance that you would have the same thing. In these cases, you have to be aware of things that can potentially cause keloids, for example, ear piercings, body piercings, to let the doctors know that, there's a potential for poor scarring and, especially avoid things like tattoos as well.
So, we've chatted about the injuries that a person might have. We didn't even, maybe let me rather say, my brain didn't click that actually some of the injuries in inverted commas to the body are things like piercings and tattoos. Can you share with us if there are keloids that develop worse on certain types of elective injuries, if I'm going to call it that?
So a lot of it is dependent on the environment that we are having these keloid formations, why it happens. So when you have the scar, initially you have your body reaction to in that area that causes laying down of the scar tissue. So things that don't help are infections in the area. The wounds are not closed properly. If there's persistent discharges from the wound, it can cause this healing to be delayed and cause a longer inflammatory process.
There's a question here, but I think we'll get to the different kinds of treatments in a moment as it is relating to that. When you look at some of the patients that you've come across, what are some of the common, I don't want to say mistakes, but that's the only word I can think of, but what could have been done better down the medical chain in terms of how the patient is dealt with? Because I assume by the time a patient gets to you, where it is a surgery for removals, it might have already gone much further. Or is that always the treatment, that even if you go to the doctor and the GP says, I'm not sure, go to the dermatologist, and the dermatologist says whatever they say, or no, go to the clinic, use this ointment, and it grows and grows and grows. Are those the cases that end up with you? Or maybe you can share some insights about what are the challenges in that medical chain when it comes to the diagnosis and the treatment?
So I do see keloids that are ranging from, a small, like just a small pinhead, all the way to something that is almost the size of the head of the patient, which, does become very, very psychologically traumatizing for them. The issue with them is, at the end of the day, prevention is better than cure. When they're small, to treat them correctly, we can get a better result than when they're massive and we have to do some more radical surgery to remove them. And then as it grows bigger, we need a bigger piece of skin to cover the hole that's going to leave behind once you cut it out. So the things that we can do, like we said, is to make sure that if the patient is going for any procedure or even tattoos, etc., is to have a very sterile environment to prevent an infection in the first place. The treatment for it, once when you cut it out, the problem is that the cut in itself is another source where a new keloid may form. So people at first, they say, it's just a small thing, I'm just going to nip it out. Then it grows back bigger and they go back to the same doctor who might cut it out again. And every time he cuts it out, it goes faster and faster and faster to the point where it becomes too big. And so the key is to recognize this and to apply the right form of treatments to prevent them from getting worse.
What are the treatments before a person finds themselves on the operating table?
So generally when it comes to doing piercings and any small cuts that you're experiencing and there's a small lump growing, it's important to do the scar treatment early. This includes keeping the wound clean, making sure the scar is well hydrated. So this we can use via silicone tape to tape over the scar. And then we can also use vitamin A, vitamin E creams and ointments to massage the scar to flatten it. Once it gets a bit bigger, we do need to cut it out eventually. But the trick is to treat your cells in that area peri-operatively and immediately post-operatively. So we can do things like steroid injections into the wound to stop the proliferation of those scar tissue cells. The last thing that we can offer to a lot of the patients is something called radiotherapy. Whenever people hear radiotherapy, it's a scary word because they think cancer. But it basically stops cells that grow fast from continuously growing. So we can use radiotherapy at a low dose to stop those cells from growing.
Are you able to just share with us, Doctor, what the reality is for people in the public sector when it comes to keloids, where they don't necessarily have access to a Dr. Wei Han Chen or a dermatologist, and they nip it in the bud quickly?
Unfortunately, the thing with, having worked in public sector myself, is knowing that there are limitations in the government sector where certain treatments, for example, the radiotherapy that we were talking about, is saved for patients who have malignancies and need it for treatment. So that is the difficulties that patients face in a government sector. The other issue that people face is when you go to a government hospital and you book for surgery, there is a precedence that emergencies do take place first. And as much as, with keloids, people don't see it as that immediate life-threatening emergency. However, they're not thinking about the effects that this keloid is having on this patient, the constant itchiness, constant bleeding, the psychology side of it.
When you speak about some of the effects, and I mean, the people that I had interviewed that were struggling with keloids were sharing the part of how the itchiness can drive them absolutely crazy. Even you saying the bleeding, can you share how intense it can be, that sensation? Because one might think, well, if scratching makes it get worse, just stop scratching. But we know it's not that simple.
Well, I think we can all think back to that time when we've injured ourselves. And as we heal, that wound starts to get itchy and we go and scratch it. So imagine that, but 10 times worse, 100 times worse. That is what the patients deal with. And when you're scratching so much, it actually causes more irritation to the area. And with every new irritation, it causes possibility of more scar tissue being laid down. So one of the simple ways that I try to do for my patients is I do try to give them medication that helps with the itching, just so that we can stay on top of the scratching process. The other thing is the steroid injections we use do help with the itching, and to also talk to the patients, discuss with them how long after the injection they're starting to feel itchy again, in which case we can time our injections better to alleviate that itchiness.
If a keloid is quite dense and thick, you mentioned medication, and you put an ointment, let's say, does it itch from inside or from the surface that the ointment would be helpful? Because I'm imagining, why couldn't numbing cream be used, for example?
So the skin on the outside is the part that's itching. Fortunately for us, keloids inside, there's no sensation. It is just scar tissue. There's no nerves within it. So it's the actual irritation of the skin on the outside that causes it to itch and want to scratch it. Yes, numbing cream can help to prevent you from scratching. However, remember, at the end of the day, if your ear is numb or the scar is numb, you're also more likely to bump it and cause more trauma to the area. So we don't want you to have no sensation in the area. We want to be able to let you have sensation, but cure the itching.
And just in terms of where we are in medicine at the moment versus where we could be, what does the research currently say? Are there any, in inverted commas, I'm going to say cures, because I think everybody would know what I mean, considering that those keloids can keep returning. What is currently available and what are scientists trying to get for the market?
So unfortunately, keloids is a genetic component. It's not something that as a surgeon or even in medicine that we can cure, because it's in your inherent genes that you are born with. However, we try to minimize the process that goes with inflammation, and as well as recognize early risk factors from that can cause the keloids to occur. One of the things that we do have, and we are very lucky in South Africa, especially in the private sector, where we have access to everything else that is internationally available. But new research is always coming out about how we can recognize patients who are at risk of poor scarring and do the treatments beforehand. A classic example that I can think of right now off the top of my head is that they found recently that if you have a fungal nail infection, you are at risk of increased keloids just purely by the fact that your body is going through an inflammatory process and looking for things to attack the whole time because of that fungal infection. So it's important to find, each patient's risk factors and try to prevent them before you get to the point where the keloid even starts forming.
Sure. We're going to, when we come back, Doctor, take some of the listeners' questions, but also chat about which of our South African demographics are more likely to get keloids. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. It's 2:30, time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon, I'm on time.
Thanks, Relebogile. Very good afternoon. And thank you. Controversial businessman Suleiman Karim will have to appear before the Madlanga Commission in person on August the 14th. This follows a ruling by the Commission on an application by Karim for his testimony to be postponed again due to ill health. Justice Mbuyiseni Madlanga has ruled that Karim may be excused if only that he voluntarily undergoes an assessment by an independent medical practitioner. That doctor must then submit a medical report to the Commission by August the 12th, indicating whether or not Karim is fit to testify. Lawyers for the DA claimed Tshwane Council Speaker Mncedi Nzwanana got his numbers wrong when he considered a controversial vote that has now been challenged in the courts. The party has taken the Tshwane Council and its Speaker to court over votes made earlier this month, resulting in City Manager Johan Metler's suspension and CFO Gareth Mnisi's reinstatement. And South Africans have one final opportunity to register or update their voter details ahead of the 2026 local government elections. The Electoral Commission says this weekend's voter registration drive is the last chance for in-person registration before the proclamation of the local government elections. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour in the Benoni area, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on Atlas Road approaching the N12. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land looking really good. No accidents have been reported on our highways at this stage. However, just look out for those faulty traffic lights. That's in the Four Ways area at Cedar and Uranium. Traffic lights also not working in North Riding at Malibongo Drive and Vidkop. And if you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. When Joburg came together in the iconic CBD for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, unforgettable moments were made, and none of it would have been possible without our incredible partners.
Baba Khanedi, the Chief Marketing Officer at Gauteng Tourism Authority. What a wonderful day, a brilliant installment of the return of 702 Walk the Talk into the city of Johannesburg. Gauteng Tourism is not a sponsor, it's a lifelong partner. No other city in the African continent is able to pull a walk event like this. And shout out to 702, all the 702 lenders for once again coming up in their thousands. This is going to be even bigger and better next year as we move towards 140 celebration of this wonderful city.
Thank you to all our partners who showed that great things happen when Joburg comes together for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
Vandalism and theft of water infrastructure affects everyone. Damage to pipes, meters, valves, reservoirs, and other critical infrastructure can result in water outages, low pressure, sewer spillages, and costly repairs that impact communities across Johannesburg. Johannesburg Water urges residents to help protect public infrastructure by reporting suspicious activity affecting the water network. To report incidents or water-related faults, call Johannesburg Water on 010 061 4470. That's on 010 061 4470. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water.
Right, gang. Are we all in? Liam? Here. Ethan? Here. Andrew? Here. Luca? Yeah. Amelia?
Yeah.
Violet?
Yeah, Mom.
Introducing the Chungun CS75 Pro, a powerful turbocharged engine, modern safety features, and room with 7 seats for everyone.
Hey, that's not everyone. You forgot Choppy, Mom.
Oh, Choppy! The all-new CS75 Pro.
Chungun, driven to evolve.
You can become a victim of a legal problem, wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Solve exciting riddles and unravel a web of suspense and adventure with Hollywood Bets and Spinners on Kim Mystery Parcel. You stand a chance to win a share of 1 million rand in cash and bonus bets. Start your quest and bet 2 rand or more on selected Playtech slots every Wednesday between 2:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. and Sunday from 4:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. What scintillating secret will your parcel reveal? Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive with John Perlman is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. John, how are you doing? Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, happy Wednesday to you too. I'm well. Hope you're well, and good afternoon to all the listeners.
I have to ask, your doctor's appointments or appointments that you've booked months in advance, and your strategies and how long you're willing to wait if they are running late.
So I always ring the medical professional beforehand, their office, and I say, is the doctor running late? Because I want to get my bearings.
Man!
Yeah.
So you I love that. I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah, and sometimes you get a very clear and accurate answer. Sometimes it's a little, they say, no, he or she's running on time. And they aren't really. So there's that. The other thing, because I heard the first part of your conversation, which was really interesting. One of the things that wastes a lot of time as well, I had a period of having to go to a whole lot of different specialists and tests and so on. And eventually I decided that I would phone ahead to that specialist and say, do you have all my results, all my paperwork?
Yes.
Because you'd sit there and they'd say, have you had an MRI for the sake of argument? You say, yeah. How come you don't know this? Why? We've just used 5 minutes talking about this, and then you phone your receptionist and they've got it, or click online. I know these things are speeded up. So I phone ahead. Are you running late? And secondly, I do a little bit of that, herding of all the relevant information in advance. I just put together emails and send it.
You are so smart. I'm taking notes for that. Then I have to ask, what is your strategy when you need to go to places like Home Affairs where, one of the gents called to say he was at Home Affairs for 11 o'clock appointment. He only went in at like 2:30. I'm like, sir, please, it's Home Affairs. You have to book the first appointment of the day and you must take the day off. And you But for me, first appointment of the day, I can comfortably know I'll be on time for radio and there's a bit of waiting. But what do you do for places like Home Affairs?
A book, an audio book, a charger for my phone, and a modem.
Oh, and John, you're on another level.
Yeah.
Another level.
Yeah. So I like the audio book because then you don't have to chat to people.
Yes.
Some people don't realize that when you're reading a book, you can't multitask and chat as well.
I'm so taking notes. So John Perlman's notes, phone the doctor ahead and ask if they are running late. And then are there any appointments that you have to cancel your entire day for? The one that you're like, this, I don't even want to take a chance because this doctor might go to surgery or whatever, and I don't want to risk being late for work.
And, to be honest, none I can think of, no.
Oh, wow. Okay, what's coming up on your show today?
So just news coming out of Parliament, Relebogile, the impeachment committee, obviously looking at the Phala matter, has just decided that they are actually going to peel the ruling, you remember last week, President Cyril Ramaphosa went for a stay of their proceedings, the public part of their proceedings, until another court had heard a matter related to this. So they're going to go to court now. So lawyers are going to be busy. We'll hear from Lindsay Dentlinger, who's following that very, very closely. The Road Traffic Management Corporation have uncovered a syndicate that is doing all sorts of illegal and nefarious and destructive things in regard to both driver's licenses and vehicle licenses. We're going to get a lowdown on exactly what it is they've been doing. Going to talk to someone who actually designs the costumes and makes them for the Masked Singer. That's quite a feat, actually, and quite an intricate task because they have to look fabulous, but they've also got to work for the purpose of someone being able to move and sing inside of them and not topple over like a tree in a storm. And then Joburg Water had a whole lot of money taken out of its accounts at the end of June. A lot of money. I think it was around 3.74 billion rand. We're going to talk about that. Not the money wasn't stolen, but money is meant to be ring-fenced from 1 July.
Yes.
And not used for other Joburg Metro purposes. So we want to understand a little bit better what happened there and what was that money supposed to be used for, because part of it was to pay people to whom they owe money, like people who fix things. So more on that after 5.
Oh, we'll be definitely tuning in. 702 Drive with John Perlman from 3 to 6 p.m.
702
Masterclass.
And we continue with our masterclass at 20 minutes to 3 o'clock. We are together with Dr. Wei Han Chen, who is a plastic surgeon at Lenmed Randfontein Private Hospital. Your questions and comments 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Doctor, before we go to the first question, I want to find out from you that are there certain skin tones or races that are more prone, or any part of the demographic that are more prone to getting keloids than others?
Yes, that's definitely a part of it. Like we mentioned before, is that keloids has a genetic component. And genetics, just like everything else, is part of our skin color as well. So if you have black skin, Asian skin, Indian skin, you're more likely to have keloids. And that's part of, what we have to deal with.
And is there a reason that is the case?
So again, it's just a genetic component in the same way that if you have white skin, you're more prone to other like skin cancers. If you have black skin, you're more prone to keloids. It's one of those things that comes in with the territory of it.
All right, your questions on the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. The first one says, does the doctor offer removal, including radiation, to remove future redevelopment?
So definitely, but like I said, with radiotherapy is, at the end of the day, you're using something that we use to treat cancer to treat a scar. The radiotherapy in itself has inherent risk for developing skin cancer later on. So at the end of the day, you have to weigh up, is this patient going to benefit from it, risk versus reward? I would always say if it comes to keloid therapy, it's always best to go for something less invasive first. And if it doesn't work, then you move on to something that is more invasive, so like radiation.
The next question, my daughter has had keloid surgery twice. Unfortunately, it has returned and is much larger. We don't want to do a third surgery. Doctor, what can you recommend? And maybe just remind, Doctor, all of the listeners why it can become a recurring cycle.
So at the end of the day, with this listener's daughter who's had surgery twice, at the end of the day, it depends on what was given during the time of the treatment. So, if there was steroid treatment given, if they do the compression dressing afterwards, it can lessen the chances of recurrence. Unfortunately for us at this stage, there's nothing that I can say is 100%, future-proof, no keloids once you cut or scar injure skin. And that's where we are. But because of how, at her age right now, going through the itchy processes, as a much older adult, it's easy to say to someone, listen, you mustn't scratch it because it's going to make it worse. A child has much less control over themselves in this circumstance. So, a lot of these patients that I find in my practice, as they come through with their keloids, and I say to them, listen, we can wait for the child to be a bit older to understand that us, by doing this procedure, and the child is also committed in the treatment. At the end of the day, the patient has to be part of the treatment journey and can't be something that us as doctors or patients decide for the child on what's best.
Can we, when we done taking all of the listeners' questions, I wanted to touch on a little bit the psychology aspect that you mentioned. But for now, we go to the lines. Mangi in Relebogile. Hi, Mangi.
Hi, Relebogile. It's Mongi.
Okay, Mongi. Apologies, Mongi.
No problem. I had an operation I removed something on my breast last year in October. And thank God it was detected within the 1 year that my scar was turning into a keloid. So I have been going, I think I've had 3 injections already, the steroid injections with my doctor. So what I want to find out is, he said, we must give it at least about 6 months, at least 6 injections. So what I want to know is that, will the scar disappear automatically after 6 months, or would the doctor recommend that I do the therapy that he spoke about, the laser therapy that he spoke about earlier?
I'm Mongi. Thank you for calling in. Sorry, is it fine if I just take over?
Yes, go ahead, doctor. Go ahead, yes.
So 100% after your excision of that keloid on your breast tissue, the steroid injection right now is the best choice. Over time, the scar should stabilize and it should flatten out. So you shouldn't have to go for your radiotherapy. And as we said, radiation, it carries its inherent risk of causing cancer in the future. And, we all know that breast cancer is a very prevalent disease in our community. So, to put yourself through that, I don't think it's worth it unless there is definite proof that there's recurrence. I always say with the steroid therapy, it's always important for you to know yourself. Is the itchiness coming back? If it's coming back, then you can even, some people even get injections every 2 to 3 weeks as opposed to once a month.
Okay.
Mongi, are you answered?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm answered. Thank you so much.
Can I just ask you, Mongi, how did you know it was keloids when it started doing that? Did somebody in the family have it, and how did you get that diagnosis?
No, fortunately, my sister-in-law is in the medical space. So the one time I was showing my cleavage, and she saw my scar, and she said, I need to go back to the doctor. So yeah, I was very fortunate that I was sitting with somebody that could tell that this thing is becoming a keloid, that I needed to consult my doctor. Otherwise, I would not have known.
Thank you so much, Mongi, and all the best on your recovery journey. So there's a solve, right? To not have to wait in the doctor's rooms. Have them in your family. Have them in your family. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we continue. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Ready to buy your dream car? Put an offer in on a new house or take out that personal loan. Make 2026 your year with Postnet and Huru. Visit your nearest Postnet store to get a comprehensive credit report from 4 of SA's leading credit bureaus sent straight to your phone. For only 135 Rand, take charge of your future with a clear picture of your financial position and how to improve it. Why second guess your credit rating when you can be certain? Get your Huru and Kudo credit report at Postnet today. Postnet, helping you succeed.
This past Sunday, tens of thousands showed up to walk with the people, for our Josie in the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Thank you for taking the scenic route with us, creating unforgettable memories and showing the world that Joburg is more than just a city. It's a remarkable energy that connects us all. Here's to Joburg. Here's to us. Here's to 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize Bonke, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Centre becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
702
Masterclass.
10 minutes to 3 o'clock, and we continue with our masterclass on keloids. We're chatting to Dr. Wei Han Chen, who is a plastic surgeon at Linmed Randfontein Private Hospital. 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. We have a question that reads as follows, Doctor. It says, Relebogile, are keloids contagious? I've made my partner buy his own hair clippers after his head was shaved with a hair clipper that shaved a guy that had them on his head. I mean, I would imagine that barbers are supposed to sterilize between each cut, but doctor?
Look, the truth is keloids are not contagious. Like we said, it's a genetic component that causes the keloids. The issue is, however, if your barber is not keeping sterile and making sure that the equipment is clean between each cut, then a small infection, even cutting the hair, can result in an irritation, folliculitis, and then laying down of scar tissue and keloid formation. So indirectly, the barber needs to make sure that, in fact, not just barbers, every person that's going to be touching you should make sure that all equipment remains sterile and clean between each clientele.
I'm curious, Doctor, with regards to, for example, getting your nails done, they cut off cuticles. If you go for a wax, your flower also gets ripped. Are there certain, I want to call them wellness and beauty procedures that seem low risk but are actually more high risk than we may think?
Sure, there is times that we think of that is something that we would think is low risk, such as, the ear and body piercing is something that is obvious for us. But other things, even like doing a tattoo, getting a vaccine, you do get an injection in the arm or in the buttock for that. Like you said, waxing can cause folliculitis in the area, and even just shaving your head or your beard at the barber can also cause small micro nicks in your skin that can result in keloid formation.
And when it comes to the different kinds of awareness, how prevalent are keloids in South Africa? We know that we won't necessarily always see them on people. Sometimes it's not just the back of the head. You might see, I've seen people having keloids on their earlobes, around their piercings and things like that. But are there other places on the body that they show up as, and how common would you say it is in South Africa?
So the most common areas we spoke about are the earlobes, the beard area, shaving hairs, and even your arms for injection sites. The other areas that people do tend to have keloids are the back area and the central chest area between the breasts, as well as on the shoulder. Anywhere where there's high movement in the joints, it can cause a disturbance to the wound healing process, and that's what essentially causes the keloid formation. In terms of prevalence, it really does depend on each population. We see lots of keloids with our population, but it varies from each person's practice, I guess. In terms of a specific number, I wouldn't be lying if I said to you that I can give you an exact percentage of people who will get a keloid from a certain piercing or etc.
When it comes to how you do the as a plastic surgeon, doc, which are the other types of surgeons that are qualified to remove? I mean, could a person do it in their dermatologist's rooms, get it removed by laser or those other kinds of things? Or is it something that has to be surgery?
Generally, I would recommend surgery to remove it. Even if you do laser or the chemotherapy creams to soften it, it still needs to be removed in the end. So you will still need a plastic surgeon to remove it and prevent a secondary keloid forming.
How do you decide, or rather, as a plastic surgeon, because you're kind of doing two things, part of it is the removing and then the other part is trying to preserve what it looks like. Maybe you can give us insights as to, as a surgeon, how do you actually prep and plan for removing a keloid while trying to be mindful of how the person's going to look afterwards, especially if it's on like their face or things like that?
I think in the end, every single procedure or prevention starts in the consultation room. So when the patient comes to me and tells me about their keloid, the first thing I need to make them aware of is, number one, like we said, I can't cure keloids because it is genetic components about it, but I will try my best to ensure that it doesn't form again. I can't give a 100% guarantee, but we will use any method in our armamentarium to prevent it. In terms of what we have to do is, as a surgeon, my job is to cut, and cutting will leave scars. I can't make scars disappear, but my job is to hide them the best that I can. So part of the keloid treatment process, number one, is to decide, how am I going to take out this keloid and close the hole that's left behind that does not distort the person's anatomical features. And then afterwards, how am I going to stop this scar from widening and forming a new keloid afterwards? So it comes to tissue handling, and the patient comes to me, every time I cut or pull on the skin, it can cause a microtrauma. And again, we said that anything that you cause damage to the skin can form a new keloid, and that is what I try to prevent happening. So it's just about delicate and gentle handling of all the tissues when I'm operating on the patient.
Doctor, some of the listeners, I think they think you're sitting next to me and can see the WhatsApp line. I'm getting pictures of people asking if it's keloids. Guys, we cannot diagnose you on air, so please advise where's the first place that a person needs to go if they suspect. One person, it looks like their chin, it looks like very, very thick type of scarring, but obviously without you looking at it with your own eyes and hearing about all the symptoms, we can't really say. Another person is like, can they appear under the arms? I'm assuming that they can appear anywhere, doctor.
Anywhere that you have skin, you can get a keloid forming from there. So if you have a picture in front of you that looks like it's wider than the initial injury, then it's most likely a keloid that the patient is dealing with, or this listener is dealing with.
The website to get in touch with Dr. WHCplasticsurgery.co.za, WHC for Wei Han Chen, plasticsurgery.co.za, and you can head over to Len Med in Randfontein and try to get an appointment, but start with your GP. Thank you so much.
Do you ever get that wake up, dress up, show up kind of energy? Well, it's final voter registration weekend. On the 1st and 2nd of August from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., registration stations open across South Africa. So show up and register to vote in the upcoming local government elections. Call 0800 11 8000, visit elections.org.za or WhatsApp 0600 8800 for more info. This message is brought to you by the IEC.
Time. When you're a kid, it moves slower than a sloth trying to get through airport security. There is just so much of it. Skip forward a few years to your 20s. Time is still your friend. It says have some balance. Go party and have fun. Then your 30s hit. And time suddenly steps on the accelerator like it's trying to catch a traffic light before it goes red. 40s. Now time is moving faster than your 10-year-old on a sugar high. 50. You're desperately trying to save as much as you can, but time is moving so fast. And all you can think is, where did all the time go? That's why after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time for some much-deserved you time. Now, isn't that a compelling enough reason to invest? Ellen Gray. Long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
To all of you who took part in this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, thank you. This year, the Sunday Times partnered with Walk the Talk. So look out for all the coverage of Walk the Talk on Times Live and in the Sunday Times this Sunday. And remember, all of you who entered Walk the Talk have a 3-month digital subscription to the Sunday Times. Thank you for walking with the people, for the people on the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg, Babize Bonke, and it's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Suleiman Karim to appear before Malanga Commission on August 14th and the Impeachment Committee to appeal the interim court order. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Controversial businessman Suleiman Karim will return to the Malanga Commission